live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning to you. It's Tuesday, April 30th.
That's right. We're at the end of April. What a fun month with Fiesta, the eclipse, a bunch of activities happening around town.
Yeah, the year is flying. We've already talked about it. Seems like we talk about it every month. But right now outside, 73 degrees, tons of humidity, not a cold snap in sight.
No, you guys reminded me April was a busy month. I feel like I need a nap now just talking about it. Yes, but we're heading into May, which could be a busy month, and since that weather often picks up, we see more severe weather during the month of May, and it's looking a bit like we could see some of that coming up tomorrow. Let's look at today's forecast first, though. Noontime, 80 degrees, mostly cloudy. We have clouds out there right now, and as we head into the afternoon hours, we'll be up around 87 or so. I can't count out a storm, but I doubt we're going to see much. If we're going to see anything, it's likely going to be out west on the Rio Grande, so Del Rio, Eagle Pass, those areas that could see some storms coming off the mountains there in Mexico. But rain chances do pick up, especially tomorrow. Right now we're putting in a 40% chance. It's not to say everyone's going to get rain tomorrow, but I think those are probably our best odds Wednesday into Thursday, and then rain chances slowly fall off as we head into the weekend. So here are our weather headlines. Yes, rain chances peak tomorrow. There could be a few strong storms mixed in there too. And then what about the hazy skies? We've got smoke coming in from Central America, some agricultural burning down there. We'll talk about the impacts to our forecast with that. And the weekend is trending drier and warmer. More on that forecast in just a bit. But let's go over to RJ now. Have things been busy this morning?
Yeah, over the past couple of hours, seen a lot of things sort of pop up in and around the city of San Antonio. As we take a quick look here at our TransGuide traffic cameras, we're taking a look here at 35 at O'Connor. This area has been busy throughout. There were a couple stalled vehicles there. We had some overnight construction that took a little bit longer than usual, but we have seen traffic now move through that area. 1604 Meadow Creek, same situation there as well. Traffic moving pretty well right there. 410 Cherry Ridge as well on the northwest side. Let's take a look at a couple things that we've been following, and it looks like these two incidents are actually starting to clear up. If you just saw that camera there at I-10 and Woodlawn, we had two stalled vehicles. One was an 18-wheeler out here at I-10 Woodlawn, also Hildebrand. Traffic had been backed up to Fresno, but it looks like things have been cleared out in that area right now. We are seeing a stalled vehicle on the far southwest side of town. This is the northbound lanes of 35 right there at Neighborhood Road over in the Von Army area. But it looks like traffic is still getting through the area, so that's good news for our drivers in Von Army, for all of our folks making their way up from 1604 to Loop 410 in that area. Again, northeast side saw a lot of different traffic in this area due to some overnight construction and also those stalled vehicles, but it looks like things have cleared out. So if you're about to step outside right now, might be a good time to do so because we are seeing traffic moving pretty well throughout most of the greater San Antonio area. Mark and Stephanie, back to you guys.
Thank you, RJ.
Let's look at today's 9 at 9.
A deadly attack on law enforcement in North Carolina. A fugitive task force was trying to serve a warrant when the suspect started shooting at the officers. After police shot and killed the wanted suspect, the second person then fired on the officers. After a long standoff, officers took a woman and a 17-year-old boy into custody for questioning. Authorities believe that at least one of them had fired on the officers. A member of the U.S. Marshals Service, 2 officers from the State Department of Adult Corrections, and a Charlotte police officer were killed in the shooting.
The pressure is growing for Israel and Hamas to accept a ceasefire deal that would release more hostages. A new proposal would provide a 40-day truce and bring dozens of people home. Hamas calls it progress, but not a done deal.
Emotions are still running high on campuses nationwide, from Texas State and San Marcos to Seattle and New York. Protesters at Columbia University in New York say they've barricaded themselves in a building after the university tried to disband their efforts. That's as some schools are telling pro-Palestine demonstrators their time is up, leading to a wave of arrests and suspensions.
Investors are keeping an eye on the Federal Reserve today. The Fed will wrap up its 2-day meeting with a decision about interest rates tomorrow. But it's widely speculated that they'll keep them right where they are.
The country's largest wireless carriers have been fined a combined nearly $200 million for some shady dealings. The FCC says T-Mobile, Sprint, AT&T, and Verizon illegally sold the location data of customers to bounty hunters and other third parties. All 4 carriers say they plan to appeal this decision.
Nearly 60 million people may no longer be able to afford internet this week. A government program that helps keep low-income households online is set to run out of money by tomorrow. And the bill to extend the Affordable Connectivity Program is stalled in Congress.
Southwest Airlines has a new program in place to compensate travelers who run into delays. It's part of an agreement with federal regulators after the holiday meltdown of 2022. Southwest has agreed to give out travel vouchers of $75 or more to passengers delayed at least 3 hours getting to their final destinations because of an airline-caused issue or cancellation.
A new study finds that teens who vape have a higher risk of exposure to lead and uranium. That could harm brain and organ development. The study was published in the Journal of Tobacco Control. Vaping has slightly declined among teens, but it remains the most popular form of consuming tobacco since 2014.
Early voting ends today in Bexar County for the municipal election on Saturday, May 4th. Voters have more than 3 dozen election sites to choose from, and you can vote at any location today. Polling sites close at 8 p.m. For a list of those locations and what to take with you to vote, just look for this story on KSAT.com. And that is today's 9 at 9.
What was your reaction when you heard that the Institute was going to get this money?
We are excited. We're excited, but we are not surprised because we are doing cutting-edge research here.
Greehey Children's Cancer Research Institute is one of only 2 institutes in the United States dedicated solely to pediatric cancer research, and it was recently awarded millions of dollars to advance that research.
Well, Tiffany Huertas takes us to one of the labs here in San Antonio where scientists are working to find new and less toxic treatments for childhood cancers.
This is called tissue culture room, where these cells are sitting inside these incubators, where they're live cells. They came out of patients which have cancer, and then basically we test them whether any drug which we are discovering here is good enough or not.
This is one of the 21 labs at the Greehey Children's Cancer Research Institute at UT Health San Antonio, located in the medical center. Dr. Manjeet Rao is a professor and deputy director at the institute.
The goal of this institute to threefold: to find new therapeutics, new treatment for pediatric cancer patients, also to improve their quality of life and education.
There's researchers from all over the world. How is that helping with the mission of this institute?
Right, that's really important because our goal is to bring the best brain from all over the world who not only understand cancer research but also dedicated to doing and finding something new. And that's why it's important. And it has helped us tremendously. We have scientists from all over the world representing from Mexico, from Canada, from India, from China.
And new funding from the Cancer Prevention and Research Institute of Texas, or CPRIT, will help advance cancer research.
The CPRIT money is going to play a very important role. This is given to one of our scientists here who works on Ewing sarcoma. And Ewing sarcoma is a soft tissue sarcoma that affects little kids, and it's very nasty. Once it's metastasized to different organs, there is no cure for it.
UT Health San Antonio was awarded approximately $16.4 million from CPRIT over the past 6 months. $10.4 million of it is going to the Greehey Children's Cancer Research Institute or to some area of pediatric cancer research.
And so this money is going to help us understand what makes these Ewing sarcoma cells not to respond to drug, why they don't respond to drug. What can we do about it?
Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
Well, to bring community awareness to the more than 15,000 children in the U.S. annually diagnosed with cancer, the Greehey Children's Cancer Research Institute is hosting the Gear Up Against Kids Cancer Bike Ride. So that's going to take place on May 11th at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Floresville River City Park. The funds will support the Research Institute and their mission.
Right now it's 9:07, 73 degrees. Still ahead on GMSA at 9.
Well, remember the big Powerball jackpot that was over $1 billion? Well, the lucky winner from Oregon has been revealed.
I told her, where you going? What are you doing now? She said, I'm driving on the way to work. And I told her, you don't have to go work now.
Well, in your morning headlines, David Sears will tell us more about this lucky winner.
Plus, KSAT is getting ready to make the switch to NextGen TV. If you aren't sure what that is, don't worry. Our KSAT Explains team breaks it down for all of us and tells us what we can get with it and what you need to do to continue to watch us here on KSAT. Quick look at TransGuide, eastbound 410 at Babcock. We have a slowdown. We have road debris out there, and then we have an accident again. Eastbound lanes of Loop 410 at Babcock. We do have some congestion in that area. Well, as you can tell, the days are getting longer and summer is finally getting closer. That means it is time to think about some vacation plans.
So if you're getting ready to plan that summer getaway, ABC's Tim Pulliam has some advice for you.
If you're ready to book a summer getaway, there's some good news in the travel forecast.
Domestic airfare is below last year's prices and below prices that we saw in 2019. So for those travelers thinking about a summer vacation or a late spring getaway, the prices now are fantastic and you will be able to find a deal.
Haley Berg, lead economist for the travel website Hopper, says that airports should be busy this summer since airline seat capacity is the highest it's been since 2019. But that doesn't mean it will be a chaotic travel season.
There have been huge efficiency gains made in the last 2 years among airports, airlines, and the FAA and air traffic control. So we should not expect the same craze of delays and cancellations that we have seen in some previous summers.
If you're looking for the best deals, here's some tips on when to book.
If you're going somewhere domestically this summer, try to book at least 1 to 2 months in advance. That's when you'll get the lowest price.
If you want to travel overseas, you may want to move fast.
We recommend that you book between now and the middle of May. International flights will be full. It's a very popular time of the year for those bigger bucket list trips. So you want to book now to ensure that you're getting the lowest prices.
Berg says rental cars will cost on average about the same as last year. And for hotels, it's a mixed bag.
We are expecting that prices this summer, both domestically and abroad, will remain elevated. It's more expensive to stay at a hotel now than it was pre-pandemic. But the good news for travelers is that if you're a little bit flexible, if you can book more at the last minute, there are deals to be found.
Wherever you go and whatever you pay, there's more people traveling in the summer, which raises the chances that your travel plans may be disrupted. The experts' advice, be prepared and be patient. Tim Pulliam, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Look out there with live cam, kind of feeling the summer weather creeping into our lives right now with the humidity. 74 degrees.
Creeping into our lives. Huh?
Very slowly.
Very slowly but surely, yeah, because we're starting to see more 90s. Yesterday we got up to 90. There are some 90s in the 7-day forecast. So you're right about that, and it's a lot more humid too. With these dew points in the 70s. We're going to start off, though, with some smoke. And this is something we typically see this time of year. There's agricultural burning going down in Central America and parts of Mexico. And that smoke, that again, it gets generated every year about this time, gets pulled up into Texas quite often. And we're dealing with that right now. So if you were watching the sunset yesterday, you might have noticed it was kind of hazy. The smoke has something to do with it. I mean, the humidity is also part of this. But with these southerly winds, it's drawing the smoke into parts of Texas, and it's going to be hazy for a couple days because of this. Now, your next question may be, is this affecting the air quality, the air that I breathe? And honestly, not really. We're at moderate, which is typically where we are this time of year, so it doesn't seem to be having huge impacts on the air quality, but we'll certainly keep you posted. I think mostly you're just going to notice kind of the hazy sunrises and hazy sunsets with some of that smoke out there. Right now, 74. Dew point is at 69. South-southeasterly winds at about 9 miles per hour and visibility 9 miles. As we look at the forecast for today, noontime, 80 degrees, mostly cloudy. And then by the afternoon, we're up around 87 or so. There is a small outside chance of a storm, but I think that's mainly going to be to our west. We'll watch places like Del Rio and Eagle Pass, and I'll show that to you in the future radar here in just a second. But as we get into tonight, temperatures in the low 80s, southeasterly winds still ushering in a lot of moisture. Here's the forecast for today. So by, say, 7 o'clock, yeah, there it is. Some of those storms that will be coming off the mountains in Mexico could affect places like Del Rio and Eagle Pass. Now, if we do get those storms to make it here, they certainly could be strong to severe, so that'll be something worth watching. But as we often see, these storms will die down before they make their way to San Antonio. Now, let's get into tomorrow, and this is where things change a little bit. We got a little ripple in the upper part of the atmosphere, and that gives us just a little bit of lift. And so by noontime tomorrow, we're starting to see a few spotty showers. And then by the afternoon, I think we could see a couple of storms. Now, this particular model does not show a whole lot. I think with the amount of moisture we have in the atmosphere, and if we can just get, again, just a little bit of lift coming through, I think our risk for storms is there. And this model does show some storms perhaps coming through Wednesday night into Thursday morning, which is also a possibility. But the severe risk tomorrow, look, it's low end, but it is there. The entire viewing area is within that risk. According to the Storm Prediction Center, a higher risk for severe weather will be off to the west along a dry line. So that, there probably will be more of a risk for storms and hail and gusty winds and all that fun stuff out west. But I still think we have the possibility for that. And our risk, mainly just hail and gusty winds. And it's a slight risk with any storm that develops tomorrow. Our rain chances, well, I do think they're highest tomorrow going into Thursday morning, and then they start to drop off a little bit as we go into the weekend, so less in the way of storms. There's still going to be some isolated activity, but the bulk of the activity is probably going to arrive tomorrow. And if you're looking at rainfall potential, the highest rain is going to be across the highest rain totals will be across North Texas. We're kind of on the tail end of things, like we always are. But if we can get some of those storms in here, a half an inch to an inch, a possibility, we'll certainly take it. Here's the extended forecast. 85 tomorrow with that chance of rain, 30% chance Thursday, 86. And we'll get some more rain chances, as I said, going into the weekend.
Well, we'll watch out for the rain.
Yes.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Time now 9:17, 74 degrees.
What's the story not many live to tell? Two brothers from Nebraska were sucked out of their home by a tornado and survived.
I stayed awake the whole time. I did several head over heels cartwheels.
I remember hitting the ground and then kind of coming to afterwards and just feeling the whole house just ripping into my back.
David Sears has that story and more coming up in your morning headlines.
As we head to break, don't forget to get your tickets to the first ever Texas Eats Food Festival. It'll be May 11th at Smoke Barbecue. 20 local chefs will be there offering samples of their food, and all benefits the San Antonio Food Bank. Just scan the QR code on your screen for tickets, or you can go to TexasEatsTV.com for more information. We'll be right back. In your morning headlines, we hear from two brothers who survived a tornado over the weekend. They had the cuts and bruises to prove it. And Breaker 19, does a driverless truck still have a CB handle?
Plus, a lotto winner had an unusual way to hope for the best. David Sears is here with your morning headlines.
See, that would kind of freak me out. And nobody answers.
Nobody.
You're looking for directions.
No driver.
How's the road behind you?
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you do?
This is going to be an interesting experiment.
We'll talk about it in just a second, but let's start with this. I want you to meet Royce Slayton and his brother Roger Slayton. This is Royce and that's Roger over there. They are brothers who survived tornado this weekend. They were literally sucked out of their home while a tornado ripped it apart, happening in Omaha, Nebraska. You see Royce on crutches right there. What an incredible story they had to tell, though. Roger was on his way home. He called Royce and told him a tornado was heading their way. Get the dogs, get to the basement. Roger got home, was going through the garage. He found Royce. They could hear little electrical explosions on the street. They ran upstairs to find one of their little dogs, and then all of a sudden it hit. They could feel the vacuum pull, windows exploding, the floor moving under their feet. We'll let them pick it up from there.
I was certain that was the last time I ever was going to see my brother, because the house took off. I mean, our experiences are a little different. I stayed awake the whole time. I did several head over heels cartwheels, hit my head on about anything I could, and I face planted on the ground and got buried in rubble, which luckily protected me from getting sliced up by any glass. But my legs were pinned, my arm was pinned. His was a little different.
I was thrown out of the house. I remember come this way and then ripping out towards the back after the house lifted. And I remember hitting the ground and then kind of coming to afterwards and just feeling the whole house just ripping into my back. and pounding into like me from behind, because I was just in the egg on the ground. I don't know how I didn't fly away with the house, because there was nothing behind me. I was just in the middle of the grass in the backyard here. And then once I got up, I just started screaming for Roger's name, because I didn't see anybody. I thought he was dead for sure. And then the adrenaline kind of wore off, and I couldn't move anymore. So I was sitting in the house across the street, just waiting for people to be able to walk around, and thank God I saw him walk up about 20 minutes later, and it was a really big sense of relief. And then after that, we found out that the little dog Nico was in the ambulance.
Unbelievable story. Yeah, they did find that little dog, but they were both hit pretty hard, as you heard. I'm going to warn you, we're going to show you some of their injuries. They turned for the camera just to show us their backs. They were scratched up pretty bad. Royce had to have 22 stitches, says it's painful to walk. You can see he was on crutches. Roger took a nail to his back, plus, as you can see, a lot of cuts and bruises, but thank God they were able to survive. Hey, if you are driving down the highway and you look over at a big 18-wheeler and you don't see a driver, are you going to freak out? Well, if the answer is yes, then get ready to freak out, because those driverless tractor trailers are about to hit the road. By the end of the year, the self-driving trucks are going to be hauling goods between Dallas and Houston. The company, Aurora, says the truck doesn't have a driver, but it has a lot of other stuff, like 25 sensors, including lasers, radars, and cameras. Aurora says they'll be safe. Critics, not so sure.
We want to be out there with thousands or tens of thousands of trucks on the road. And to do that, we have to be safe.
The company's going to decide when they think they're safe. And the only thing the regulators are going to do is judge them after the fact if something went wrong. That's where we are.
Yeah, within the next 4 years, Aurora and its competitors expect to put thousands of these self-driving trucks on the road. They'll be going around the clock, hoping to accelerate product delivery times and lower costs for consumers. Hey, sometimes good things happen to folks who really need something good to happen. It did. Charlie Safan won the $1.3 billion lottery prize. He was going to split that three ways. He was the sole winner, matched all 5 numbers plus the Powerball. He's 46 years old, says he's going to split it with his wife and friend. He bought 20 tickets, wrote the numbers on a piece of paper, and then put them under his pillow. He said he's been battling cancer for 8 years, and this is going to give him a little peace of mind.
I pray for blessing my prayer were answered, and my life has been changed. Now I can bless my family and find a good doctor for myself. I found out that I won, so I'm with my partner, and I call her. She's driving on the way to work, and I told her, where you going? What are you doing now? She said, I'm driving on the way to work. And I told her, you don't have to go work now.
Turn around and come home. We're rich.
Story.
So, hey, yeah, I mean, obviously, fighting cancer, he needs to find a good doctor. Yeah. If you've been through that before, you know it's not cheap. So good for him. So good for that family.
David, back to the truck. So if it's a driverless truck, who do we get to?
How does that work?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's on a timer system.
They're taking all the fun out of it.
I don't know. Let's see if the sensor picks that up or not.
Right?
No rubber duck.
Nope.
Thank you, David.
You guys might not remember that movie. I don't know.
Rubber duck.
No.
What was it?
You don't remember the movie?
Rubber.
About the truckers, and I got to think of the name of it. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
All right.
I was thinking
Let us know.
Sesame Street.
Now I'm intrigued. Rubber ducky. Yeah, we remember that one. 9:28, 74 degrees more ahead on GMSA at 9.
Including a breakdown of what NextGen TV is.
It's taking the over-the-air environment and making it digital.
And with the old technology, the broadcasters aren't able to do any of those things.
So KSAT is switching to NextGen TV next week. When we come back, the KSAT Explains team will tell us more about it, what we can get with it, and what you need to do to continue watching us.
All right, we figured it out. David was referring to the 1978 movie Convoy and somebody's CD handle in that movie. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I heard Rubber Ducky and I was thinking Ernie.
It starred Ali MacGraw and Chris Christopherson. A lot of people may remember either one of those actors.
Yeah.
But it was also a song, right?
It was, yes. C.W. McCall.
C.W., yeah.
Yeah, but boy, we put Google to work in the last 2 minutes.
Yes, we have.
These are awesome.
Looking it up.
Good work. Good investigative work. Guys, I want to show you a picture here on our KSAT Connect. We mentioned the smoke in the atmosphere, and it kind of made the sunrises and sunsets a little hazy. Boy, this tells a story, doesn't it? You can see the haze with the sun, and they say, yeah, it doesn't look real. I agree. That kind of looks eerie with some of those clouds in the distance as well. But a great shot. We appreciate it as always. Let's look at the pollen count. Molds are down today from where they were yesterday. Moderate, 640, grasses low, pecan also low. So we haven't had a whole lot of issues in the pollen count as of late, other than a little bit of elevated mold with that last rainfall. Weather where you live, we're at 74 right now in San Antonio. You can see the sun starting to peek out a little bit, so it promises to be another warm day and very humid. You know, at one point yesterday it was nearing 90, sun was out, and there was hardly any wind, and it just felt so sticky and warm outside. We're going to see another day like that today. And our forecast calls for a high right around 87, 88 in Pearsall, 87 in Hondo. So maybe a degree or two cooler than yesterday, but not by much. Then hopefully we'll get some cooling weather with some showers and storms tomorrow. We'll take another look at that forecast for you here in just a couple minutes.
All right, check a Transcave one more time. Looks like we may have gotten a lane back out here. This is eastbound 410 at Babcock. Looks like everything is now clearing up as we speak. A wrecker taking off and one of those hero trucks as well. So we should completely see all the lanes open here in mere seconds.
Yeah, moving a lot better now.
Yes, ma'am, indeed. What's the next big thing in local broadcasting? And KSAT is making the switch to what's called NextGen TV.
So what is it, and what's in it for you and us? And how will it change the way you watch? Well, Myra Arthur breaks it all down in this KSAT Explains.
It's the next generation of TV technology.
It's taking the over-the-air environment and making it digital.
It's a real upgrade for viewers.
So the reason why we have a new system is because everything's changing in the media landscape.
Do you watch KSAT using an antenna? If so, you're what's called an over-the-air viewer.
It's great quality. It's the best quality you can get, because it's a pure stream.
But over-the-air viewers don't have the same options as people who stream television. With streaming, you can watch what you want when you want it.
And with the old technology, the broadcasters aren't able to do any of those things.
Until now, NextGen TV will allow you to customize KSAT. Turn on your TV and you'll see what we're airing at that time. But you can also check out a menu of other options, like KSAT Explains, for example, investigative stories, weather, or let's say you want to see all of our coverage on a particular story that you're interested in.
So you can say, I really do want to dive more into this news story, and I can do it right from my TV while I'm watching over-the-air TV.
When they tune to your channel, a bug appears and they click on it and it brings up a menu in channel, and you can do what you want to do. It computerizes the over-the-air.
NextGen TV paves the way for all of that over the air. And eventually, this feature.
Take, for example, you joined the local news and you were 6 minutes late, and you're like, I wish I had sat down 6 minutes ago. And the button comes up and says, do you want to start over? And you go, sure. And what happens is seamlessly, the viewer is transitioned to a streaming experience of that newscast from the beginning.
There are also improvements to picture and sound.
NextGen TV also sounds better with Dolby Audio for enhanced dialogue and maintaining a consistent volume whenever you're changing the channel.
High dynamic range video. Eventually, you're going to be able to get 4K video over the air, and this is completely free.
Here's what it will look like when you're watching NextGen TV on KSAT. I got a chance to play around with it before its official launch.
Back to that menu, I hit enter again.
The menu goes away after a while if you're not doing anything with the menu.
It looks like the KSAT Plus app over the air. No download required. But there are some things that you do need. The antenna you have now, it's still good. You can keep it. But
your receiver, though, you either need a television set which is NextGen TV capable, or you need like a set-top box that will understand the NextGen TV stuff for you.
I have one right here, one of these little boxes.
You can plug that into your existing TV via an HDMI cable. They're available for a real simple device, $60, to something that's more full-featured with a DVR and a program guide and all this cool stuff. And those can be up to $200.
But to get that interactive ability that you find on streaming, you'll need a TV that works with NextGen. Having a smart TV or one connected to the internet won't work. The TV must be NextGen capable. Look for one with the NextGen TV logo.
But let's say you can't make those purchases right now, or you just don't want to. You don't have to keep watching KSAT. The FCC is requiring that broadcasters continue carrying the old signal as we add the new one.
While we're simulcasting the old system and the new system, consumers need to do exactly nothing.
You'll still be able to get the channel in the old standard. Stations are simulcasting in both standards for a number of years.
You might remember the last big TV switch from analog to digital. In 2009, the FCC said TV stations had to make that switch. This time, it's broadcasters choosing to change.
The broadcasters are the ones behind the idea of we need an upgrade.
Specifically, a group called Pearl TV.
We're a business consortium of 8 of the largest broadcast station groups in the United States.
That includes Graham Media Group, which owns KSAT 12. Pearl TV worked with the Advanced Television Systems Committee.
It's the U.S. body that sets standards for television.
To come up with the NextGen TV framework.
We sort of provide the structure that allows all these different companies, some of whom are competitors with each other, to have these kinds of conversations to reach consensus on what to do. We're like the technical experts.
The technical name for NextGen TV is ATSC 3.0. So we've talked about what's in it for you, but yes, there are some things in it for us too. There's a reason broadcasters came up with this idea.
In order to serve the modern consumer, you got to have a modern platform. And so that's what NextGen TV is for the broadcasters.
It gives them a lot more tools that they don't necessarily have to compete. So this interactive app capability that they can have more personalized interactions with their viewers.
And full disclosure here, it allows us to fine-tune our content by giving us a better look at what you're looking at, what you're actually watching. And there are business opportunities there for us as a station.
It gives you all kinds of data and advertising, so you also will know what consumers like or don't like.
It's important to point out that several of those customization features, things like starting over or the specialized tabs you can search, those won't be available right away. But making this NextGen TV switch allows KSAT to add those things.
There's light at the end of the tunnel when we get to the point where everything is NextGen TV. There's more capacity to do all of these great things.
They don't have to upgrade if they don't want to. We need to provide the reason why they should want to upgrade.
And again, KSAT is making the NextGen TV switch on Monday, May 6th. If you watch KSAT on cable streaming or satellite, you don't have to do anything.
If you watch us using an antenna, you will have to rescan your TV to see KSAT once we make the switch. We're planning to do that next Monday at 2 p.m.
And if you have NextGen TV questions, you can scan this QR code. It will take you to a section of our website dedicated to all you need to know.
We're here to help. Right now, 9:40, 74 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Well, still to come, a recap of American Idol last night and the final 7 contestants, plus a look ahead to Sunday's show.
Time to check in on our friends at the crane exhibit over at the San Antonio Zoo. We have a few there along the banks of the water there over at the zoo by Brackenridge Park. You're watching GMSA at 9. We'll be right back. So, what's happening?
Yeah, nice Tuesday morning.
Yeah, it is. Tuesdays. Do we love Tuesdays? We don't love Tuesdays.
It's okay. It's better than Monday.
It's better than Monday, sure. We've got clouds and humidity. That's one thing for sure. Yesterday we felt it. I mean, it was so sticky and warm. Today, we're kind of looking at the same thing. And I want to show you the time lapse real quick, and you can almost see the humidity just kind of rolling in with these low clouds. Now, in the last couple of frames, sun's popping out. So that means temperatures will start to warm up. Well, they already are, but they'll warm up a little bit quicker now here over the next couple of hours. Right now, 75 in San Antonio. So we've already gained a degree since we last talked to you. 74 in New Braunfels, 78 Pleasanton, 72 Bernie, 73 Kerrville. And there's that southeasterly wind, which is bringing in a ton of moisture. And by tomorrow, the air is going to be just full of moisture. And so that's why I think our rain chances actually go up a little bit more as we get into tomorrow. As for today, 87. It'll feel more like 89 or 90 when you factor in the humidity. 86 Lakey, 89 in Uvalde, 85 up in San Marcos. And as we look at severe weather season, and I've shown this before, but I wanted to bring it up again, May is our most active month. So as we get into next couple of weeks, we know that the severe weather will start to kick in, and days in which we can see storms, it's almost a guarantee that we're going to have the risk for at least some strong storms, and that is the case next couple days. So just know May is one of those months for us, and as we look at the forecast for today, not a lot there. This is 7 o'clock, by the way, so we go all the way into the evening with quiet conditions. But then we have to watch what happens out west, because some of these storms, not only in West Texas, but out in the mountains of Mexico, may try to move a little bit closer to Del Rio and Eagle Pass. Now, as they often do, they'll fall apart before they get to San Antonio. But folks out west will need to watch that. Then into tomorrow morning, we'll start to get some drizzle. Spotty showers tomorrow. Now, I will tell you, the models have backed off a little bit on our rain chances tomorrow. They want to keep a lot of the heavy stuff to our north, but I still think we have a shot for at least showers and dampness in the morning, and then some thunderstorms in the afternoon. This is around 6 o'clock. It shows some of those showers maybe growing into some storms, and then we'll watch what happens out west, because there will be a line or a cluster of storms that develop and try to work in our direction. But as I said, a lot of the models want to keep the heaviest stuff off to the north. We'll see how this plays out. In this kind of scenario, it's kind of hard, again, to pinpoint exactly when and where we're going to see storms. But what we do know is that there is a risk for severe weather tomorrow, and basically our entire area is included in that. It's a low end risk. The higher risk for severe weather will be out across West Texas. But much of Texas is going to be dealing with the threat for showers and storms. The heaviest of the rain will be across North Texas, but even here, I think we could see up to ½ an inch to an inch, depending on where some of those storms set up. And we'll certainly be watching the radar closely tomorrow. 40% chance of storms is what we're calling for. 85, 86 Thursday, 85 Friday. We'll still have some isolated shots at storms next few days, and then the rain starts to taper off. The chances start to taper off as we head into the weekend. And by next week, there's that 90-degree number that you were talking about, Steph, 91.
I know.
You ready for it?
Not really, but,
Notice he's only asking you. He doesn't. Yeah, you know my answer.
Yeah. Baby steps, maybe.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Justin. Well, then there were 7. American Idol said goodbye to another contestant last night as the show gets closer to crowning a new champion.
ABC's George Pinocchio shares what happened after the show.
The contest within the contest on Monday's show had the 8 Idol hopefuls given 3 song options by the judges, not knowing which judge picked which song. Contestants sang Katy Perry's choices half the time. Her reward for winning? After America picked the top 6 finalists, Katy had to pick one of the other 2 to stay, and that sent Cabrian home.
We know we've got to get rid of one, and we're down to 2, and they're looking at each other, and it's just a horrible moment to have to pull off.
I'm just on top of the world. I honestly just feel amazing and at peace.
You're going to be just fine. I know that you can, by the way, all your fans online, Katy sucks!
7 singers are staying for another week of competition, but 2 of them will be sent home on Sunday.
It's just like, oh gosh, another one. But I'm grateful. Like, I want to go forward. But it's like the overcomer in me that loves the challenge. So yeah, that's how I feel.
If somebody goes home over me or I go home over somebody else, like, we're proud of everybody here. We're proud of ourselves. And so I think it's the camaraderie that really makes me at peace.
Something about the way she kissed me, just she loves me to tell me. I don't want to jump the gun like we like to say back at home, but I just hope I make it far enough in this competition, may surprise America more and more.
Because you truly grow and you mold and you develop into a better person and a better artist each week you're here, and that's why I want to be here.
The show has already said it's a tight race this season, and it's all in America's hands.
We got the big singers, we got the storytellers, we got the pop stars, the country stars, and all that. So it's going to be tough watching these people be eliminated off the show.
This was voted on by people who you moved them, you touched them, and that's why they're on that stage. So here we go.
Next week, Sierra mentors the top 7. The theme, Songs That Want to Make Me Dance. In Hollywood, George Pinocchio for ABC News.
Have you ever wondered about his vests?
Very fancy.
Apparently his wife makes them by hand. That's why he has worn them. It's kind of his signature over the years.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just thought he was a creative shopper.
Well, maybe, but yeah, apparently George's wife, very handy with the sewing machine.
That's cool.
Yeah, 9:50, 75 degrees.
Well, when we come back, we'll look at a new film in theaters this weekend that pays respects to the stunt people in action movies. Welcome back. It's 9:53. So we are getting down to our final educators of the month. And tomorrow on GMSA at 9, we're going to introduce you to April's honoree. So he is a teacher at Harlandale High School, and he is proud to teach in the community that he knows and loves. So I got the chance to meet him. So go ahead and learn what his students say is special about him.
Plus, also happening tomorrow, it's a new Science with Sarah. Sarah Spivey and David Sears will be out at Thousand Oaks Elementary making balloon hovercraft with some 5th graders there. So tune in for that and much more tomorrow on GMSA at 9.
Well, Ryan Gosling stars as a stuntman in the new action flick, The Fall Guy, a movie which set a world record while being filmed.
I saw the trailer this past week. It looks like a lot of fun. CNN's Rick Damagello gives us a look at the film in theaters this coming weekend.
That's me, Colt Sievers, and this is my hero's journey.
The life of a Hollywood stunt performer is just part of the Fall Guy story.
I'm not the hero of this story. I'm just a stunt guy.
He is a guy that takes all the hits and does all the action and gets none of the credit.
Director David Leitch is a professional stunt performer with 82 films to his credit in the stunt department.
And it's not that that's not what we sign up for when we're stunt people. But at some point, you know, people know enough about how the movies are made. There's time for us to get credit.
I need to drive it in the car now, please. Okay, the tide's coming up. I've always just had the utmost admiration and gratitude and respect for what they do, but I think there was something illuminating for me as well of going, wait, they really do live in the shadows, and that's wrong.
A cannon roll? It's time for you to start rolling cars again instead of parking them.
Production of The Fall Guy included a world record-breaking stunt.
There's a scene in this movie which I love so much because it sort of sums up the whole film to me in the sense, or the whole reason to make it, which is that Logan Holiday, who's a stunt guy, he straps me into a car, and for a stunt he's about to do, he does the stunt. Action. He breaks the Guinness World Record for most cannon rolls in a film ever. And then he pulls me out of the car in the scene and pats me on the back for the stunt that he just did. And in any other movie, you would never know that.
So good. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
I could get you guys in at the senior rate.
I hope